Got back home from a week away at the beach with my family, and guess what? We've got rain coming tonight, so I'm gonna harvest anything that is near ready to be harvested, especially those tomatoes that have already started to change. One of my hot Hungarian wax was ready, so I picked it. You can see this pumpkin is taken over, as well as the nutsedge in this particular bed. Nothing ready to harvest here. It was a hard week while I was gone. We did get rain though, so my neighbor did not have to water. She did harvest as needed. There is a tomato ready. That is Prairie Fire, so we're going to take that. I'm going to check over here around the corner at this Tasmanian chocolate. I see a few fruits. They're not ready. Front side view of those Hungarian wax peppers. They are really putting the peppers out, but I want them to start to turn color before I pick them. I will deal with this front walk bed in another video. But look, all of my squashes have contracted squash vine borer while I was gone. You can see that pumpkin. Might be able to harvest him, dry him out. Basil and peppers in these containers are stable. Nothing ready to harvest. Eggplants are not near ready. I think the heat we've had the past month or so has really stunted them. No tomatoes there ready to pick. In fact, in this whole little garden section of my front yard, none of these tomato plants are producing. They've been hit heavy by deer often, and so I did get a few tomatoes off of those a while back. My eggplant patch looks horrible from the drought and the heat wave. Let's go up here and see. You can see my new fishing line right here. And because of it, I'm not going to climb under there tonight to go look at my squash. Around my shoulder, I catch the sight of a deer, and there he is, browsing for food. A few of my sunflowers are starting to bloom. This is another garden space to the right of my driveway, and there are some fruits in here. So we're going to climb under that fishing line and pick those. Another picture of the sunflower, and another view farther up the driveway. This is my tomato tunnel. There are some peppers there. There are lots of tomatoes in the tunnel, and we are going to pick all that we can, because if they get a lot of rain exposure tonight, they could split. I'm not really worried about the peppers, but I'm definitely worried about my tomatoes. Another squash that bit the dust. This tomato plant here has lots and lots of fruits. Some onions that are ready. The necks are broken and bent over, so I'm going to take that one. This plant completely died out this week in the heat. And then this is Jimmy Nardello here, and you can see it's got lots of beautiful fruits. I'm going to let them ripen just a wee bit more. I did pick a few though that I thought were almost all the way red. Beans here, I'm not going to bother with those tonight. That can be a tomorrow job. The humidity right now is super hot, and it is getting ready to rain, so I want to get inside. But I was considering picking these pods of Nigella. Really don't think they're ready yet, so I'm going to wait. Look at my hardy hibiscus. It's looking gorgeous. Tomorrow there'll be more flowers. A few fruits here. I think my neighbor might have missed those, so I'm going to pick them and just keep looking. I've got tomato plants hidden so many places, but these were actually gorgeous. And we're really starting to fill up our basket. And this is a different plant here. This is Red Pride. It's another determinate plant, and he has been producing fairly well, fairly early. Here's another pepper. This is Summer Sunrise, and trying to take one of those off. I'm going to let the rest kind of start to change colors, but one of them had some color change, and it looked really good. And now we're going to take a look at some of the tomatoes in the tomato tunnel. And there's some shito peppers also in the front of the tunnel. They are definitely not ready. They've got a ways to go. You can see a squirrel or deer has been eating on one of those tomato fruits there in the back. And in a future video, we're going to make a potion up for such problems. And now I'm just going to try to work my way through into the tomato tunnel. And there were a couple volunteer cherry tomato plants producing. I think this might be sun sugar. No, actually honey drop. I'm 90% sure that's honey drop. And this is my cherry tomato bed. And surprisingly, these guys are really slow. They're keeping their green color for so long, but I did find a few that I could pick. And that can happen in the heat, right? So I'm not too worried about it. There's plenty of fruits. They're just taking their time on starting to turn. A pepper bed is coming along, and the basil needs harvesting. We will do that this week. And then I've got my cowpeas. I planted those right before I left, and look, they look great. And here is a Yellow Boy Plus that I was able to find down low. No one had bothered it as far as squirrels. And this is what I collected on my first night home. I think it looks like a great start to getting back into the garden.